That's funny.
All right, yo. So confluence for this trade is that we just had a 4-minute inverse, targeting an unfilled 15-minute bullish gap after taking out previous week highs and having a SMT on the 1-minute time frame with ES. So looking to see the 4-minute just displace lower, target this unfilled 15 as TP1, and then TP2 being this 9:30 a.m. low. If this doesn't work out, then Pipe's gonna have to live under a bridge for the next week. So let's see. It's an eval trade. No news Monday. We're not trading the funded accounts.
We do have an SMT at previous week high though, so this should have a little bit more of a bearish reaction since we have a bearish SMT at the previous week high. But I guess all-time highs is just gonna be the target for today if this doesn't play out.
Bro, it's not over till it's over. SMT on the 1 minute. Bad.
Nice.
We just hit TP, boys. Let's go. Let's go. Full TP dubs. Bro, everybody better be spamming dubs in the chat right now. Okay, what is good, everybody? Let's get right into this trade recap. Today is October 20th, 2025, and today we caught a little loss trying to catch a 4-minute inverse targeting an unfilled 15-minute bullish gap mech model short on MNQ because we missed the entry for longs. And today is going to be kind of like a lessons learned type of day, and I'm going to go over some discipline that I can personally work on and for sure will help you guys out. So coming into the morning, if I look at the weekly time frame, I had this previous week high marked out as being the obvious draw on liquidity for today, and I wanted to catch longs targeting that previous week high because if you look at the 4-hour time frame, last night we inversed this 4-hour bearish gap right here. After this 4-hour got inversed on NQ, I knew that we were ready to long back up to previous week high. So all I was waiting for was a retracement and confirmation. So we got the retracement into this 2-hour bullish gap on NQ. We also got it on ES as well, and we got confirmation that we are respecting this 2-hour bullish gap on both indexes. So then I go on the 1-hour time frame, check to see what's going on there. Go to 30-minute, bang. Now comes my daily bias, right? I'm ready to long at any point because the 4-hour super bullish, the 2 hours bullish, we already retraced into a bullish confluence being that 2-hour. I'm just looking for an entry right now. So I wanted to see market open, create this 30-minute bullish gap, come down into it, and then get an inverse fair value gap all the way up, targeting that previous week high as TP1, and probably also maximum TP because then we had a bearish SMT at previous week high. So I would have full closed there. But unfortunately, when we created this 30-minute bullish gap on NQ right at the open, we barely tapped into it, and then within like 30 seconds, we were all the way up here. So I wanted to catch the inverse of this entire leg, being the manipulation lower, tap into the 30-minute, and then I wanted to catch this distribution long, targeting this weekly high, but unfortunately, we did not get an entry, right? This happened way too fast, inversed all the way up here. I'm not gonna put my stop loss all the way down here. It just didn't make sense as a trade. So unfortunately, we didn't catch the long that we had written down in the daily bias we wanted to see play out. And then let's continue, right? So now at this point, we have swept previous week high, but on ES at the time, we did not sweep previous week high, right? Previous week high was up here. We had only swept previous day high, so we had a bearish SMT at previous week high. So at this point, I'm like, all right, I didn't catch the long. Let me see if somehow we form a mech model short that I can take as long as the weekly bearish SMT is still in place. So what happened is that we created this 15-minute bullish gap, that I want to target as a mech model, and I'm just waiting for the highest time frame inverse. The highest time frame inverse was this 4-minute bullish gap that we had in between where price was at the time and our target being the 15-minute unfilled gap. So as soon as the 4-minute got inversed, I entered my position short, TP1 at the unfilled 15, and then TP2 at the 9:30 a.m. open low, which was right here, would have been obviously. So what was going through my mind right here is that obviously longs were better, right? I knew that in the back of my head. I knew that taking shorts was going to be lower probability because we were so bullish on the day. But what I had in mind for this trade is that this is a mech model short opportunity presenting itself with a bearish S&T on the weekly time frame that I knew wasn't going to hold long term, right? I knew that in the span of a day we were going to blow through that previous week high on ES as well and invalidate the bearish S&T. But what I was looking for is to try to catch a small retracement, predicting that for the moment being the previous week high bearish S&T was going to send us lower into a retracement at least into this 15-minute. That's what I was thinking. So I knew that longs were better. I wanted to catch longs. That was what I wrote down in my daily bias, but we didn't catch an entry. So I tried this 4-minute mech targeting the unfilled 15 and it didn't work out. Now, lessons learned. Well, first of all, I want to note that Mondays and Fridays, I only trade my evals. And there's a reason for that, right? Mondays and Fridays tend to be worse price action, unless there's news on Friday, but definitely Mondays, I never trade my funded accounts. I only trade my evals because it's lower probability trades. Now, mech model trades, they have a 70% win rate, which means that this could just be the 30% of the time that the mech model doesn't work. It's not a bad setup because we did have a bearish S&T on the higher time frame. We did have a good target being that unfilled 15, and we did have equal lows at the 9:30 a.m. low as well. So, is this a bad setup? No. This is just a game of probability. We play in a game where no one has a 100% win rate. You just have to pick a strategy, pick a model, repeat it every single day when it presents itself, when it's in line with all of your rules, and when it's actually a good setup, you take them 100% of the times, and then 70-30 split, you should be always in profit if you consistently take this model. So today is just one of those times where it's just not going to work out, even though it's a good setup, which is fine. I accept it. It was a small loss compared to what would have been the win, being a 1-to-4 risk to reward ratio, which is insane. I really liked how that was the RR, right? Even to my TP1 was almost a 1-to-2 RR. And then to my TP2 would have been a 1-to-4 RR. So was the risk worth it? 100%. Do I regret taking this trade? Not at all. Did I prefer to take longs? Yes. Did I get an entry opportunity for longs? Unfortunately not. So that's for today, right? I hope you guys understood that trade recap. I want you guys to know that if you lose today or any other day, that it's part of the process, that it shouldn't demotivate you because it's part of the game. The best traders in the world, no one has a 100% win rate. Everybody takes a loss sometimes. It's just about how you come back and how you accept that loss and how you learn from that loss, right? Going back in and looking at everything, looking at the higher time frame, lower time frame, trying to understand why did the trade not play out. That is the important part of trading. So I hope you guys are doing that, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.